Money talk, money talk. Say the love of money is the root of all evil. Money talk, money talk. It's the money they love. Yo, cause them get caught up in the high thing. The wealth and the fame enticing. Come on, don't wanna do the right thing. The love of money blind them. Them a get caught up in the high thing. Wealth and fame enticing. Come on, don't wanna do the right thing. The love of money define them. Father God, keep us please from them religious schemes and them pretentious deeds with them infectious seeds. Keep us please from them religious schemes and them pretentious deeds with them infectious seeds. Money they love, money they crave. Love they have for money, make them turn into a slave. Money they want, that is the aim. Love they have for money, go drive them insane. Is money talk for this? Money talk for that. If you say you got no money, them get heart attack. They want to know how much you earn, cause they were part of that. Got to learn to discern, you can't take it back. For them get caught up in the high thing. The wealth and the fame enticing. Come on, don't wanna do the right thing. The love of money blind them. Them a get caught up in the high thing. Wealth and fame enticing. Come on, don't wanna do the right thing. The love of money define it. Father God, keep us please from them religious schemes and them pretentious deeds with them infectious seeds. Keep us please from them religious schemes and them pretentious deeds with them infectious seeds.
Hope 103.1 FM, reaching our nation for God.
Welcome. Good afternoon to all our listening public. Those tuned in via radio to 103.1 FM. It's your boy Garth St. Bernard, yet another Monday afternoon. Today being the 13th of September for another episode 10 of the Money Talk. Joined today is my co-host, none other than DJ Sabi. All right. So we want to encourage you to share the live, whether you're viewing on YouTube, on Facebook, or you're tuned in on the radio. We want to encourage you to send out the link to friends and family. Today it's going to be yet another packed program, a very edifying program on the Money Talk. As you know, here at the Money Talk, we discuss finances and from a biblical perspective. So we encourage you to stay tuned. We're going to be joined today by a special guest, and he's an economic development professional. All right, so we have that special person that would be coming on shortly. But before we go into our guests and bring them on, as it's customary, we always like to start off on a lighter note.
Yeah.
All right, so Sabi.
Yeah. How you doing, bro? Good. Everything good.
Yeah.
Despite all that we are faced with at this point in time, I still choose to see the goodness of God and still know that He's in control, He's in charge, of my life, your life. We are alive. We thank God for that. But God, as I was telling you earlier on, there are just a few things that are on my mind currently, looking at the current economical state of Grenada. And I'm thinking people currently might not just yet be feeling the I would say the financial strain is about to be placed on their muscles, so to speak. Right? The reason for me saying that is looking at time in the past, and I'm sure Jason will be able to share a little light on that in a timing. Looking at how, like last year, for example, when we had that introduction of the pandemic in our country. Some persons didn't feel it right away financially, they didn't feel that pressure financially. But oftentimes, when these things are presented, and even like a hurricane, or even if you have uh, the economy taking a downturn, when it's reported, you don't feel it. Sometimes I think at the end of this month, some people might start feeling it, and
Yeah.
next month, some people might start feeling it even more, because if you're working in a place where services present is what your business is all about, and then everybody is locked in, so there are very few persons to patronize in what you're offering, the service you're offering. Therefore, you will have a shortage of cash. And if that's the type of business you're involved in, and your boss or the business that you work for, they are the type of business dealing with that, then eventually they're not getting money. So how would they have money to give to you
Yeah.
for extensive period of time?
Yeah.
And even some of the places that sell certain goods that is not considered as essential services at this point in time. Later on also, and not when I say later, I don't mean like sometimes it could be this month end, because your boss know you to pay your part of your salary this month end, or next month end, or the following month end. And even if you get part, you weren't living on part. You were living on a full salary. So now imagine what it can be like not having that entire salary in the next 2 months. So that tells you that you should, God, start planning,
True.
and not moving like things are normal.
Normal.
So you should start planning for how you're going to deal with these things. Yesterday they talk about planting a little food in your backyard to offset certain things. So the ladies did they did team family yesterday. So they talk about the importance of planting a little backyard garden, because the tomatoes and the things you normally buy in the supermarket, it does cost a bit. So if you could pull it from your backyard, it might be even better for you. And the things you just buy that you don't need, as we always encourage persons to be prudent in the way how they use their money. So you might want to just go ahead and just buy chocolate if you know you don't need chocolate. You can save that money to buy sugar, because the kids are at home and they might drink more juice. You know what I mean? So things along that line, Garth. Anything you want to add with that before we bring our guests on?
But even as we were speaking earlier too, and I look at my beard,
The barber.
my barber,
You can't see mine, huh?
you understand, and
Anyway, the glass boy.
I do believe it's a lot of our small businesses are gonna
Feel it, yeah.
feel it earlier.
Yep.
Right, so I just want to encourage them, self-employed persons especially. Do not lose hope. It's going to be a stressful time, or it is a stressful time, but I think the first thing you need to focus on is your mental health.
Yeah.
Right, so you need to have the right attitude going through this trying time.
Definitely.
But it also brings up the point of how important it is to plan.
Right.
Plan for emergencies. A lot of times we don't do that. We just go about the day to day thinking that everything will be as is. There will never come a time when there will be an emergency or anything like that.
Right.
So through it all, we have to remain positive, and also not be despondent, not be discouraged.
I agree.
But also see what we can learn from this experience, even as we move forward in life.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
So, on that note, you already spoke about who our invited guest is.
Well, no, you mentioned the name.
Oh, I said Jason. I
you
thought
jumped the gun, man. You jumped the gun. You jumped the gun.
My bad.
So let me do the official invite now.
Yeah.
So coming on the Money Talk for the first time, but I don't believe it will be the last, Sabi.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Jason Felix. Mr. Jason Felix is from Grenada. He would have left the island in 2010. And he would have went to the University of the West Indies, where he would have done undergraduate studies. From there, he would have traveled to Canada in 2013 to undertake a master's degree in economic development at the University of Waterloo. He is now a senior economic development professional with the government of Ontario, Canada. And his greatest desire is to help individuals realize their goals and aspirations. So, Mr. Felix, we want to welcome you on the Money Talk, episode 10. It's all yours. Um, so we just wanna find out how your day has been so far, Mr.
He
Felix.
tried to trick me a while ago, guys. He tried to trick me. I called the man, got the man, tell me, yo, boy, I already have about 30 minutes. I was like, what? What you told me that? That was a good one, Jason. Yeah, man. So
Nice.
good for you,
Yeah.
bro.
I'm good, and thanks for the invitation. I'm happy to be here. Happy to share some insights and have a very nice discussion. I have a few things to share with you, so I hope the viewing audience is ready to participate, because as we spoke, we want to make it as interactive as possible. So I have a few questions to ask as well as we go along. So we can get right into it when you guys are ready.
You ready?
Okay, nice. So I want to start by talking about the ingredients. Well, the topic that I want to talk about today is the ingredients for success. The ingredients for success. And since it's an interactive session, I would like to start by asking a question, right? And the question is, how would you define success? In your own words, what does success mean to you? Because it's important to establish that foundation before we move on. So for you as an individual, what does success
So
means to you?
the question is for us first.
Yeah, you guys can chime in as well too.
All right, fine.
Those
We
that
also
are
want.
viewing on
Okay,
um on YouTube can also participate as well.
all right.
Well, Sabi, Jason, for me, success, when I think of success, I think of um, being able to achieve my goals, whether it be in the time frame that I would have allotted to achieve those goals, um, and doing it successfully.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a good definition.
For me, success is I would say when someone succeed at or success to me would be like, okay, you're happy with where you're at. Yeah. So if it yes, to add to what God said, if you had some goals, but you say you work towards something and you succeed at it, a couple of things that you wanted to accomplish for yourself. But most importantly, I believe is like being happy where you're at, what you have. You know what I mean? Whatever it is you have, at this point in time, being content and happy with it. Because anyway, I ain't gonna jump from. Let me leave it ready.
Right, right. So yeah, so these are good definitions. So uh, why are some people successful while others are not? Why are some people successful while others are not?
Some people are not content with what they have.
Yeah, but some people they are not consistent, or they don't plan properly.
True,
Yeah.
true.
Right.
So they,
Yeah,
they have
and
the goal, but they don't have a proper plan, or they're not consistent in executing that plan in order to achieve it.
right, nice. Yeah. So I ask these questions because I want to establish a few things before we get into what I want to discuss today. And the first thing that I want to establish is that there is no one definition of success, right? You know, different people would define success differently, right? So your definition would be based on what you think, what you feel, your values, and stuff like that. Uh, but the important thing to recognize is that whatever your definition of success is, it should fall within certain confines, right? And that is uh, the law of God and the law of the land, right? Because if you want to, be successful and your success is outside of these confines, then you would get yourself into trouble. And we will talk about that a little bit later. And the next thing that I want to mention also is that our definition of success is influenced by different things, right? For example, our definition of success is influenced by our environment, right? So the prevailing trends and norms, right? Um, Things that we are accustomed to. For instance, I grew up in a village in Subiz where, you know, most people are like fishermen, some of them are construction workers and stuff like that. So as a young man, I could have seen myself doing one of these professions, right? And I'm not saying that anything is wrong with these professions. What I'm saying is because of my environment, right? I could have had a definition that is influenced by the environment that I grew up under. Another thing is our values. Our values also influence our definition as well. The things that are important to you. So what are the things that are important to you? And that would influence your definition of success. And I want to emphasize you, right? Because some people believe, for instance, if Justin, has the latest car and I buy the latest car, then I am successful as well. You know what I mean? Your definition of success should be unique to you as an individual, and it should be based on your values. Because if it's based on your value, once you accomplish it, then you would have, real joy. And our friends also influence our success. When I was growing up as a as a boy, if I told my friends that I wanted to migrate to Canada and work with the government and stuff like that, they would have laughed at me, because at the time we had a definition of success that was limited to the environment and our outlook on life based on what we knew at the time. So, if I pose this question to you guys, what are some other things that may influence your definition of success?
All right. What are some other things besides friends, besides
And
Your
the
yeah,
environment,
the
because
environment?
besides your values and stuff like that.
That's a hard question.
I took the easy ones.
It's
Thinking
a,
apart from that,
yeah,
your beliefs, I would say, well, you could say values, but
yeah, values, yeah.
yeah, I'm thinking about your beliefs. When I say beliefs now, whether you're a Christian or a non-Christian, that could have some bearing on it.
Right, nice. Yeah, that's a good answer. And just as a reminder, those of you viewing online, you can type in the chat box as well too. Um, so there are two ingredients that I want to focus on tonight, right? But before I do, I want to ask, what do you believe are the ingredients for success?
Um, Boy, yeah, many, eh? There's many.
Hard
If I,
work.
yeah, smart work, smart work, working
Yeah,
wisely. But I
working
believe
smart.
one of the most important one is having a plan. I mean, we all want to, we all want to achieve something, and sometimes to achieve something, as we say, success means different things to different people.
Mhm.
So, for me, as Jason made the explanation, the odyssey, but the example of saying owning a car, because I never had a car growing up. Me receiving that car could have been a plan that I have how would I achieve such. And
Mhm.
so when I get that car, to me that's a success. That's something that I achieve. Or um I may never own a house, right? And
Right.
I may receive that house and say, wow, well, that is a goal
Mhm.
that I achieved. So I feel successful. I was successful in achieving that goal in acquiring the house. But I also believe that true success is not necessarily what you own, but who you become as an individual. That's my real belief about success.
Mhm.
Who you
That's that's
become. It's an
that's
eternal
profound.
thing. When I said like being content with what you have, being content with what you are, who you are. I think that's where I was actually getting at, you know. So that's my take on that one.
Yeah. Just before you go on, Jason, we have some
Right.
comments coming in
Yeah.
on
Nice. Yeah.
YouTube.
Right.
Someone said values and environment is truly important in defining your success. Someone said your educational level. Then we
Or
have
exposure.
our exposure.
Mhm.
Uh, and then this one, I believe, is the ingredients: determination, wisdom, the word of God. So that's just some of the comments we have coming in so far.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and these are some really good comments, and indeed are some ingredients for success for sure. But tonight, I want to focus on two things in particular. And the first one is to have a positive mindset, right? And so if you don't believe, you cannot achieve, right? So you have to believe that you can. Because if you believe, guess what? You are 50% there in the accomplishment of your goal, right? So you have to believe. So you have to have that mindset. And there are too many people that are negative, right? In terms of the outlook on life and stuff like that. So you must believe, you must have that positive mindset. And I want to share a few things with you in developing a positive mindset. And the first thing that I want to share is that we need to keep mistakes and failure in the proper context, because failure is guaranteed to happen more often than not, right? Because a lot of people believe that, listen, I'm not going to do anything because there is a high possibility that I'm going to fail, right? So we shy away from doing anything. But in developing that positive mindset, you have to understand that failure is inevitable, right? But you should use that as a way to encourage you to keep going. I always say one of my mantras in life is that we never fail. Either we learn or we win, right? So we never lose or we never fail. Either we learn or we win. And the next thing that I want to share here in terms of developing a positive mindset is a willingness to be uncomfortable. Growth isn't pleasant. Some people believe that, to achieve success or greatness, it's easy, right? It's not. It isn't pleasant. There will be discomfort along the way in your development. We have to learn to to understand that, and it's okay to fail and it's okay to make mistakes. Even success can be uncomfortable, and the question is that how uncomfortable are you willing to become in terms of you achieving success? So if you don't want to become uncomfortable, guess what? The chances are that you would not be able to be successful. And the next thing that I want to share on that is to have a focus on our emotional and physical health, because sometimes people believe that they need to sacrifice their health for success, and that isn't true success, right? What do you really gain if you achieve your goals but sacrifice your physical and emotional health in the process, right? So know your priorities, and before you start chasing after your success, because your success shouldn't take away from your mental, emotional, and physical health. So it's important to have the right mindset when you are trying to accomplish your goal, because if you don't have that, right, then it's impossible for you to accomplish anything. So having the right positive mindset is pivotal. It's a foundational ingredient to success. I don't know
Great.
if Justin or Garth wants to chime in here.
But more so on the mindset, because time and time again you have people thinking more. You more find a lot of people thinking on the negative side. They always There are some people, they only see the bad in something. I'm also seeing the connection with fear. there are a lot of persons that are afraid to fail. It's like just knowing that there's a possibility that they would not succeed at this, and there's a chance that they would fail. They don't even make the attempt to,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
that one deep.
So it's like they are, fear has gripped them so much that there's a possibility to fail, that they don't even make a first move.
Hmm.
All right. So I'm just seeing how fear also affects, the whole mindset.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would want to agree with Garth on that one. The mindset. I think everything starts in the mind, as Jason rightfully said.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you 50% of the success starts in your mind before you can actually put in the work, the procrastination and all those other things that you do is it you can have the drive in the mind, you could believe in your mind, but if you don't get up and get and put action to whatever you have in your mind, then all you'll be doing is just have a plan, and the plan will just remain a plan. So I just want to add that a little bit right there.
Yeah. Just taking some more comments, Jason.
Right.
Um,
Right.
One person says one's enemy can fuel their success. Yes, growth is uncomfortable and inconvenient sometimes. This person says, wow, that speaks volume, Brother Jason. Never sacrifice health for wealth. Powerful. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of times you think you have to put in long hours, not eat lunch, not have breakfast, just go, 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 go. Every minute of the day is just work, work, work.
Yeah, boy.
Sometimes we think that's what it takes to be successful.
And you've heard even in these times, persons who have been, they mentioned they've been overworking themselves. I even heard of one person who died as a result of overworking. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So you must find time to rest. There's a whole lot of things. Exercise,
Yeah,
making sure your mind is eating right. It's the everyday thing, right?
a balanced
A
life.
balanced life, praying right. You know.
Exactly, and that's part of the slavery mentality,
Hmm.
and sometime in the future we could talk about that, because that's a whole nother discussion in
Right.
terms of the reason why we believe that we have to sacrifice everything, even our health, to accomplish certain things, right? So that's another discussion in itself. But we thank the viewers for these comments, and keep the comments coming in. So the next thing that I want to mention is that we need to create a plan, right? And I just want to pause to ask, what's your plan for your life? What's your plan for your life? Do you have a short-term plan? Do you have a long-term plan? What's your plan for your life?
So you see, what I just gathered from your question there is like everybody have I would say everybody, but depends on where you are. Your plan could be bigger than my plan might be bigger than God's plan. Maybe because for example, if you have a business, you have that's one aspect of planning that involves your life. And then you have a family. That's the next aspect of planning that involves you again. And then you have your personal life. And then you have your children, you have your wife, you have so many aspects that you need to pay attention to, because guess what? We talked about balance a while ago.
Yeah.
And if you then plan how you go have a successful relationship with your wife, and you're focusing on your plans for the job or the business that you own, and you have your children and you're not planning, and Daddy Spectacular know about that part. Yeah. You need to plan for them all, or else
Right, right.
you're giving one as the attention, right?
Mhm.
You're growing there, but you're failing over here. Ideally, you're still a failure. You understand? So balancing is very important. It could be hard at times, but you have to be cognizant of what you're doing, and the plan in itself will actually help you to accomplish that. In terms of my plan for my life now, I can't tell the people them on YouTube and Facebook. I think personal business, go and get
But
your own plan.
so do you have a plan? Do you have a plan? It's a
I'm,
easy
I'm,
yes or no
yes, yes,
answer.
yes. I always have a
Yeah,
plan.
exactly.
Yeah.
Currently
Yeah.
planning all now as we talk.
Yeah.
Right.
Just I was speaking to my planner. You understand?
Right.
I'm to my planner. And it kind of goes to say sometimes you really do need help in these areas, because it's easier said and talked about, but
Mhm.
really and truly there are some key components of a plan that the average person probably don't know about, right, Jason? So
Exactly.
they
Yeah.
need to know. So if you don't know, that's where you need to go seeking the knowledge that is necessary to have a proper plan. You know,
Mhm.
it
Exactly, and that's what the program is about too, right? To provide, information, understanding that we all are here to learn, right?
right.
As we influence each other. So uh, there is something that I came up on as I was doing some research, and it says that almost 99% of the people in the world has no plan for their life. Could you
Mhm.
could you imagine that 99% of the people in the world has no plan
No plan.
for their life? So it's a very sad reality. So you kind of ask yourself, what these people are doing, or why they
They
don't
have
see
a
the
plan.
need to have a plan, right?
Mhm.
So, anyways, I want to provide some things that you should consider in creating a plan, or things that would help you in creating a plan. So the first thing that you need to do, right? Um, but these things are simple but profound, right? And the first thing that you need to do is to set goals. Create a few goals for each area of your life and set deadlines for each goal. So avoid having long-term goals. Only long-term goals. Have short-term goals as well, because it's important to have short-term goals. Because hear this, if you have a long-term goal 10 years from now and you're working towards that, sometimes you get discouraged along the way, right? So what has worked for me is that I have set up small wins along the way. So I have short-term goals. So for instance, in year two, I know that I would have to do a program, and I look to graduate from that program in order to accomplish, being successful in getting a job in the next 5 years, right? So you need to set short-term goals as well, and then you need to celebrate those small wins along the way, because you need to keep yourself motivated, because we are human beings as well, and we sometimes we get discouraged, right? That's inevitable, but we also need to understand that we need to keep ourselves motivated. So in a strategic way, we have to set short-term goals that leads to our big term long-term goals that will keep us motivated along the way. It's important, it's imperative. But in setting these goals, there are things that you need to consider, and I think Justin alluded to some of them earlier. And some of the things that you need to consider is your finances. That's important. So think about where you want to be financially, right? Where you want to go, where you want to be. Consider your income, your net worth, your debt, your savings, your investments, right? Are there income streams you want to create? What are your future plans for spending? There are a lot of people who like to spend a lot of money, but they don't they don't want to put in the time to earn on on money. So do you want to purchase a house, a boat? Make an investment, buy an investment property, right? So these are all things that you need to consider in setting your goal. Another thing that you need to consider is your health. This is important, and we mentioned it earlier. And what are your current health challenges? How do you want to, or how much do you want to weigh as an individual? What type of diet do you want to follow? How fit do you want to be? So these are things that we need to consider. Another thing is that we need to consider is our career. What do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you want to be working at? These are all things that you need to think about. What do you want to be doing? Do you need to go back to school? What is your dream job? So these are some of the things that you need to consider when you are creating your goal. And a lot of people don't consider this, but it's also important, is relationships, right? Are there any relationships you would like to create or dissolve? Listen, when you are on your path to success, there are certain relationships that you would have to dissolve, right? Because there are certain friends that would keep you down. So you have to reassess your relationships as well. Do you want to have children? And in Justin case, do you want to have more children? For those of us who have children already. So these are some of the things that we have to consider. Personal development is another area for consideration. Do you want to learn to speak Spanish or to play the piano? What do you want to do? Do you want to learn how to dance? Do you what skills do you want to acquire, right, in the next few years? So these are some things that we have to consider. Personal development is important. And then the next thing is that we need to think about our adventure, right? How can we have fun? Because we need to enjoy life as well. What would you like to do? Climb a mountain, go, um, skydiving, see a volcano. What adventures would you like to experience over the next 5 years, over the next 3 years, and stuff like that? And once you have given due consideration to all these areas or aspects of life, then you start writing down a plan. Because having a plan in your mind is good, but what is also or equally good as well is putting it down on paper, writing it down on paper. So you know what you want to accomplish, you know your goals, you create a detailed plan about what you want to accomplish for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years, right? Just start at the end of what you want to accomplish and keep working your way backwards. And listen to this. This is important. Make beginning so simple or simple enough that you could literally start doing something today, right? It's easy. All you have to do is start, create the plan, and then just take baby steps and start today, and you will see how easy it is um, to accomplish your goal. Um, so I don't know if Justin or Garth, wants to share anything here.
Well, from my end, what is coming to mind when you spoke about the different things to consider? A lot of times you would have, well, I would have heard in the past about SMART goals,
Mhm.
right? So SMART goals comes to mind, but also as you mentioned to write it down. Up until I would say probably about 2 or 3 months back, the truth is I only had my goals in my head until a friend introduced me to what they call vision boarding,
Right. Hmm.
and I was able now to translate the goals I had in my head to paper. So I would have gone and I would have gotten pictures, where I want to vacation, um, more or less painting a picture as to the goals I had. And I believe it is very important to put it down on paper. Because, for example, with a vision board, every day I'm able to look at it, and the different objects or pictures or so would bring to memory what I'm working towards.
A constant reminder.
Yeah.
I have actually experienced the power of that before too. Got couple years ago. Um, I was challenged by one of the trainers in a company that I worked for. I work for. And the challenge was to write 50 things they want to accomplish in 10 years. And he said, just write until you can't write no more. You understand? So I wrote, I didn't think I reached the entire 50 things. To be honest, it was hard. After I passed 10, it was hard. You understand? And I wrote those things as much as I thought would have been more the most serious ones. And then what I did was narrow them down. So those that I didn't think that was so important, put it at 10. And those that I thought more important or the most important one, you started 1 year. And then it was challenged to further go between the every year and bring it down into months and then trickle it down to days, and then go down to
Right.
weeks, and then go down
Mhm.
to hours and minutes. You understand? And that thing that God said there, I remember once I had a car up as a goal that I wanted to accomplish from playing games as a young boy. I wanted to buy an R34 Skyline. And I had that blue machine up in my office. And every day I go to work, I would see that car and say, I'm coming for you. You understand? So my efforts became towards achieving these things. And then eventually I met my wife and I was like, nah, that car I can't sleep in it. So I had to change some things. I put her aside, I threw her in the bin and I got a plan for a house and put it up. And then I got a picture of the woman and change her name and put it on top of it. So every day I go into the office, I would see the plan for the house and I would see the woman that I want to marry and go in the house with. You understand? And in doing so, bro, it became a reality. You understand?
Right,
I
right.
actually exceed my expectation in the end. Some of the things I planned on a piece of paper, I found it maybe about 5 or 6 years thereafter, accomplishing them. And the joy it brought to my heart, it was, I can't describe it. It was really, really, really a wonderful thing. And now I love that idea that you guys just introduced. They kind of remind me to go back and get a vision board. It's one thing to write the plans, but getting some picture,
Mhm.
even if you have to go and get an architect to create stuff for you based on what you have in your head, and you can have a soft copy that you can print. It's fictional, it's not reality yet, but put it in a place where you can see it.
Mhm.
Like I have something in my phone, but I think I need to take it out and put it on the wall now. So
Mhm.
thanks,
Mhm.
guys.
Mhm.
Yeah, already gave me some good encouragement to this afternoon.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
but
vision.
Yeah.
Go
based
ahead,
on
go
the
ahead,
point,
God.
based on the points Jason spoke of,
Mhm.
you see it's very holistic. Eh?
Yeah.
It's not just about say a career or your relationship, but it also includes personal development,
Personal development. Yeah.
adventures.
Mhm.
A lot
Yeah.
of times we don't think about where we want to go on vacation.
Yeah. No fun in your life.
It's like
Yeah.
on my vision board I have Sandals, Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The man didn't want to go Grenada. The man want to go Jamaica. I
Yeah,
like that.
I want to go South Jamaica for a
Yeah.
holiday.
For real.
So it is a holistic plan, and I'm hoping that the listeners out there they're writing because I am here and I'm making notes. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, understand? I'm making
I
my
see the man.
notes.
I see the man writing. He
Yeah,
like.
so it's very crucial that you take these points and put them into practice, right? And the good thing about this program and having Jason on this afternoon, you don't have to pay. At times you have to go and you pay to go to some seminar, to get this kind of information, and we are bringing it here for you right here on the Money Talk on Hope 103.1 FM.
Yeah. I am reminded of a scripture in I think it's in, I just pull it up, Habakkuk 2 and verse 2. It says, And the Lord answered and said unto me, Write the vision, make it plain upon tablets, that he may run that readeth it. You understand? They have various
Amen.
various interpretations or versions, but I would want to run with the part that says write the vision and make it plain. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? There's something powerful
About
that
seeing.
about writing it
Yeah.
and about seeing it. I think you get to convince yourself. You understand? So as we rightfully agreed, it is what you want to accomplish, what you see yourself. My
Mm-hmm.
level of success or what I see for myself as success might not be what you see for yourself. So it's important not to turn our envy eye to other person's achievements and accomplishments and say, well, you're not successful because you're judging what someone else have. You
Yeah.
understand? Unlike looking at yourself. So focus on you. That's a good point to stick in already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, because if I try to accomplish what you have just then, I
Mm-hmm.
would probably accomplish that, but I would still feel empty inside.
Empty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So your definition of success has to be, what you value and
Yeah.
the things that
Personal.
are important to you,
Mhm.
personal, the things that give you real and lasting joy. And so we're talking about writing a plan because that's important, having a plan, writing a plan. We talk about a few considerations that you need to have.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing that I want to mention on that in terms of having a plan is to also create good habits. Create habits.
Very
Um,
important.
because
Yeah.
goals are easy to achieve if you create the right habits. It's it's common sense, but some people say common sense is not so common. But anyways, um, but it's important it's imperative that you create the right habits. For example, you cannot say one of your goals is to, to have a nice lean body, six pack and stuff like that. I don't know if Justin or God.
Why? The gym closed on why I put on a weight. But I tried to put on
but
a pant this afternoon that I was weighing last month and it can't fit me.
but the point that I'm trying to make is that you cannot have some health goals.
Yeah,
You want
true.
to you want to be healthy and then you're eating junk
Hmm.
every day. You cannot want to get up all in the morning to start a course and you're sleeping in every morning.
Yeah,
Like, so your habits should be in alignment with what you're trying to achieve, your
very
goals and
true.
everything like that. And then once you make it a habit, it's easy because it's a routine for you. You
Yeah.
just get up and automatically you are in that kind of
But,
framework.
but Jason, what are some of the challenges you believe one can go through in creating a new habit?
It's hard. It's like you basically have to force yourself into it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then you have to keep reminding yourself in terms of what you want to accomplish. Because the thing
yeah,
is that what's the definition of insanity? Is doing the same thing the same way and expecting different results, right?
yeah,
So you be true to yourself, evaluate your life as an individual, and you know where you're at now. You don't want to be there, right? So
Mhm.
in getting out of where you are now, right? And we talk about creating a plan, and a plan is identifying where you're at now, where you want to be, and how do you get there. So how do you get there path needs to change in order for you to realize your goal, right?
mhm.
Mhm.
So it's a difficult thing, but a lot of people have done it. And I
I
think God made a point earlier in terms of these insights that we are sharing here. You don't have to pay for it. And one of the things that that I told myself as a young man, growing up and stuff like that, is that I never want to be a hypocrite. In that I don't want to tell people things that I haven't tried for myself and
right.
proven that it works. You know what I mean? So these things that we are telling you guys here tonight, these are things that are actually work for us,
Yeah,
right? It's true and tried, and it's hard work, but once you do it, we cannot guarantee success because it's different for
definitely.
everybody, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you stand a better chance.
One of the things that I've done when I was taught that also, you know um what, well, let me not go there, but one of the things that I've done in terms of creating a new habit is try to do oh Jason popped at us. Okay, okay. Yeah, is try to do something um in the first instance for about 21 days
Yeah.
consistently, right? And I've found that that has worked for me.
Mhm.
Do it for 21 days straight. Or when I don't feel like doing it,
Just do it.
yeah, 3 weeks, start going to the gym, your body start hurting you. Try it for 3 weeks straight. Trust
Yeah.
me, after that, you can't do without it. So you need to also know it's good to break out of bad habits because bad habits can be detrimental to whatever you want to accomplish, whatever you are striving to accomplish. I have a comment here from a listener. I'll just post it. That one came through WhatsApp. So that listener sent here. Being successful is making your dreams a reality. It's not easy, but it's achievable through hard work and determination.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
And as Jason rightfully say, it ain't nothing easy about, man, come on, talk the truth, bro. You went and study. It was easy losing all this sleep.
No, it was a real sacrifice, right? and
Exactly.
Mhm.
and not only that too, it's strategic. And
Right.
a point that I want to make in terms of planning or having a plan is that your plan should be attainable and feasible.
Yes,
You know
definitely.
what I mean? You cannot have a pie in the sky idea
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
and think that because for me, for instance, when I was going to study, right, a lot of people were leaving and going to the United States and England and stuff like that, and study, right, and to do a first degree, like a bachelor's degree. No, that's super expensive. I
Right.
didn't have the money to do that. So what I did, I went to the University of the West Indies, right, in Trinidad and Tobago, the EC dollar is higher than the TT dollar,
$50,
right?
yeah.
So I spent less, and
Right.
the degree there was like 3 years. In England and those places is 4 and 5 years. So I spent a um, significantly less
Amount
to
of
get my
money.
degree
Yeah.
than compared to other persons, right? And then now, when I had my bachelor's degree, then I went out, and I looked at the developed world. For instance, I consider Canada and the United States and stuff like that. Because once you're doing a graduate degree, post grad, then these universities would pay for you to go for you to study there.
Right.
So you don't even have to spend to do that. So it's about finding strategic way as well, and that's why we talk about your plan has to be feasible and attainable, but yet strategic and clever. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we see obstacles in the way, we see barriers, right? But with every problem, there is a solution. We just have to think creatively.
Yep.
Okay.
For real. I'm
Yeah.
taking a few more comments here on WhatsApp. One person says it's better to try and fail than to fail to try. Yeah. And another listener says, if we are also afraid of change, this can affect your ability to achieve success. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes for real, the things that you have in your mind will even scare you. The things that God might inspire you to do, because God will inspire you. I mean, Jason mentioned there are some things that are unattainable. But I believe, as you mentioned earlier on also, sometimes it's not unattainable, but it may sound unrealistic, But if you can put it in the way, as you said earlier on, just learning from what you just say, simplify it now. If it can be simplified, it can be achievable. Let me put it. I always said that my quote. If it can
Yeah,
be simplified, it
but
could be
but
achievable.
but Justin,
Yeah.
I think it's important to mention too that we also have to think outside the box when we're creating
Right.
our goals and
Right.
our vision, because
Right.
sometimes we think too small.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
That's the
Yeah.
point I'm making. So
like when I was going to school, if you ask my classmates what they want to be,
a policeman, fisher.
like everything is so nobody wanted to be a pilot,
Yeah.
nobody wanted to be
Yeah.
a doctor,
True.
nobody wanted to be a YouTuber,
Economics. Yeah.
nobody wanted to create some product or something like that,
Yeah.
because our mindset is so low, and that's because of the environment that we grew up
Yeah.
under.
True.
So it's very difficult to go outside that, because even if you go outside that, then you have peer pressure as well, when your friends looking at you and like, you
Yeah.
crazy, you're talking about becoming a pilot, like you cannot like you what you're talking about,
Yeah.
you're just on
and
what,
and
like.
that and that's one of the thing I believe that is if you don't really believe you can achieve, as we started with the mind.
Yeah.
If you don't believe you can achieve the thing, then anybody could tell you anything to cause you to say, you know what, well, I ain't believe in the first place, so you're probably right, and just
Mhm.
you know
Mhm.
yeah. And that's something that you have to make your mind up to overcome to other person's opinion over what you believe. Sometimes people very close to you might not believe what you're
Yeah.
telling them, but you have to learn to believe for yourself. You understand? I love my partner comment here. Short term sacrifices for long term gain. That's my motto. Easy Lambert.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for
Yeah.
real, man.
Yeah, exactly. So these things are vitally important, and we need to consider that. So I have a few more points that I want to make. So if it's okay with you guys, I just like to move on for
Go
a
ahead.
little bit. And what I wanted to say is that I'll probably ask a question before I say these things. Can you predict if you or someone else will be successful? Can you predict if you or someone else that you know will be successful?
God go first. I've been talking all the time. I want to take all the time
I
back.
would say yes, and I say yes based on the fact that if you see someone exhibiting certain traits, that person has a positive outlook on life. That person is has a go getter mentality.
Mhm.
And you observe these traits in someone, I believe there's a high probability that that person will be successful in life.
Right, right. Yeah.
Waiting for me to answer now.
Oh, yeah. No, if you
Oh no, I got
if you
got
want
to it.
to, if you
Um,
want to.
got to it all.
Yeah, he talking enough. He talking enough,
That
right?
exactly. He know, and there's no, no. I don't want to. I reach a point where I have to kind of calm down and pull back a bit. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, and the answer is yes. And because some people believe that certain people are born to be successful, you
Yeah,
know, born to be a leader. While there might be some merit to that, I think if you have certain attributes in terms of, you apply yourself, you acquire certain things, you can definitely be successful. And I want to share some of these with you. So the first one I have here is that you know what you want, right? And it's important to understand that success is a narrow line. It's almost impossible to hit it on accident. You cannot just stumble upon it. You need to have a target. The average person isn't clear on what they want to achieve, and consequently, they get average results. So it is imperative that we be clear on what we want to achieve, and we identify the steps that we need to take to achieve success. And the second thing that I want to mention, and we alluded to that earlier as well, is that you need to have mostly positive feelings when you think about your goals, right? For instance, a great way to gauge the likelihood of achieving a goal is to think about it and see how you feel about it. If you are excited and motivated when you think about your goals, there is a great chance that you would achieve it and you will be successful. But if you clench up, you become sad when you think about your goals, you are going to struggle. So you need to be positive, mostly positive, and have positive feelings when you think about your goals. And if you are motivated and excited, then you are on your way, and you can definitely use that to predict as to whether or not you're gonna be successful. And another thing, and we talked about that, is that you take action daily. At the end of the day, you must take consistent action to be successful at anything, right? And notice I say consistent action. So you don't start something today, you start it back 2 years from now and stuff like that. You need to be consistent in the actions that you are taking to accomplish your goal. There is no amount of hoping, praying, planning, or sending positive mental messages to the universe that would that's going to remove those unwanted pungs or put a shiny Porsche in your garage. You basically have to take action. It's simple, but it's very, very, very effective. So before I share the other insights there, I just want to pause to see if just Jeston or God has any comments?
From my side, no, no, no. I'm.
God
Go
sucking it.
ahead, man. Go
God
ahead.
sucking it all up there, boy. Yes, I want to make sure you get it all out. I could always go back and
Yeah.
review it and talk and make my comments thereafter. But for now, you can continue, man. Go ahead.
All right. So the fourth thing is that you are organized and reliable, right? And it's because you see, conscientiousness is strongly correlated with success, right? If you are organized, you complete tasks on time, and you are less likely to procrastinate than the average person. And if that's you, you're organized and you're reliable, then it's easy to predict that you may be successful. So it's important that you're a organized and reliable person. And then the fifth thing that I want to mention, and we're talking about, some of the signs that you can see in individuals to predict whether or not they're going to be successful or not. And the fifth thing that I want to talk about is that you are not afraid of failing. And we talked about that earlier. And most people are too afraid of failing to even try. The average person, and having the right attitude and about failing and making mistakes and stuff like that, it's easier to be successful. Fear of failure leads to excuses and avoidance. And this isn't the way to achieve success, right? So if you fear of failing, you're going to avoid it altogether. You're going to come up with all different type of excuses, because you basically fear failure. So failure is something that you should embrace. It's part of the package. It's inevitable, so don't be afraid of it. You just learn from it and you move on, right? And if you fail, guess what? Then you know that whatever you were doing wasn't the right thing. So you move on to the next one. And then the next thing that I want to talk about is you need to invest in yourself, right? Sometimes people spend so much of money on different things and different people and stuff like that, and not on their self. Like, so you need to invest in yourself. It's important to continue becoming a better version of yourself. You can never stop grow. You can never stop learn. You need to have an open mind. Some people are so close-minded. They think they know everything. They think that they have arrived and stuff like that. But no, you are always growing and learning. So invest in yourself. Take time to read books and learn a new skills. Attend courses and become a more capable version of yourself. Invest time, money, energy in yourself, and you would see that it will pay off in the long run. So that's important and vital as well. And then you need to be self-aware. Self-awareness is critical because some people, they are not self-aware, and they always compare themselves with somebody else. Like, you need to know yourself. This means you know your strengths and your weaknesses. You know how to motivate yourself when you are feeling down and depressed. And it's important because I think the greatest benefit, or the greatest thing that we can do for ourselves, is to be true to ourselves, right? Know who we are. And we are Christians, and we believe that each individual is unique in his or her own way. There is no other Jeston, there is no other Garth, there is no other Jason. Like, you have a contribution to make that nobody else can make. Right? So it's important that you know who you are self-aware, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, you know the areas that you need to improve on, right? And the areas that you need to improve on, guess what? It's endless. You're going to keep working on it every single day, but you continue to inch away, you continue to make improvements so that you can become a more capable person altogether. And the final thing that I want to say is that you need to have a mentor. And there are a lot of people in Grenada who don't like to give back. So, like, when I was looking for advice in terms of what can I do and what are some good career uh, to pursue, and some good fields and areas to study and stuff like that, everybody was so vague in some of the advice that they gave. And even if you ask them, well, what would you attribute to your success? They would probably give you a few things here and there, but they would never be like really true and open. And I think that's a real lack in terms of having like good mentors that we can basically look up to. And so the thing is, why make all the same mistakes everybody else has made, that has previously traveled the path that you are on? A mentor can greatly cut your learning curve and help you to avoid mistakes. So it's important. Get somebody, if you want to be a doctor, talk to a doctor. Look for a doctor that you look up to and could give you some good advice and stuff like that, and steer in the right direction. When I was doing my stuff, looking to go and study and stuff like that, I didn't have any guidance. You know what I mean? I did a lot of research, and I kind of found my way. And that's why I have a passion to really give back and to, assist people in terms of trying to achieve their goals and the different steps to take and stuff like that, because I've been there and done that. And if you don't have that guidance, then it's sometimes it seems as though it's impossible. But even if you don't, you can still accomplish it, right? And then the last thing that I want to say is that, and we talked about balance, and it always comes comes back to this, because most of my success that I've achieved, in terms of like having a family and, all the material things and, education and stuff like that, is because of one person, and that is God. So I want to close off this, little talk by leaving this verse with you, and it's Mark 8:36, and it says, "What good is it for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their own soul?" So it's about balance as well. So spirituality is very important as well. So plan for that as well.
Right. So God, man, couldn't have said it better.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Jason, just sitting here and listening to the different points, you know, and to hear you close with that scripture, it really boils down to, a relationship with God is key in all your planning, right? And you mentioned about the mentor. A lot of times, yes, that's true. You look around, and even in the church, you hardly find people willing to invest in younger ones, less experienced ones coming up. But I believe, as like the Lord would have guided you, because you were able to make it. And
Exactly.
I think once you have these different attributes, right? You have the right mindset. You take action daily, right? You're not afraid to fail, organized and reliable, self-aware. Once you take all these actions, that the Lord will also be able to complement um, these things, and you will be successful. Sabi?
I would like
Definitely.
to add know your weak points. This that Jason just said there, having a mentor in speaking to my advisor this afternoon, we were doing some preparation and planning, and she asked me some questions. She was like, "Do you have a mentor?" I was like, no, I don't. And then she
Yeah.
was like, what you should do is probably find somebody that's not in Grenada. Because see the point that Jason made, that was the same thing she told me just this afternoon. She said, look for somebody who's not in Grenada, because not saying that people in Grenada you can't find a good mentor here. She was saying that the world is changing, and some of the older folks are stuck with some of the things in the past.
Mhm.
And there's newness now, and there's new life. And sometimes you have an idea, and you might try to present it to somebody who've never walked that walk, and they haven't reached anywhere, but you go to that person for advice and they will shoot it down. So you say young people now seems to be more and more excited about what they want to achieve. So find somebody in your age group that's probably or maybe older than you, but it's not really in Grenada. There you will get fresh perspective on things. You understand, and know how, because they get to see it on a different level than it's not here. So people mind is not where your mind is, because what
Mhm.
you're trying to introduce to Grenada is not in Grenada. You understand? And yeah, and that was
Yeah.
wonderful. So listening Jason speak there, I'm like, yo, I wonder if he's my mentor, boy.
but that's important, because you need to have people around you that is on the same
Wavelength.
mental
Yeah, for real.
wavelength as you,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So they usually call it the sympathetic minds, the masterminds coming together. Because if you don't have that, then it's sometimes, if you don't have that, then the person cannot appreciate your vision that you
True,
have.
true,
Yeah.
true.
Sometimes your vision is too big for them,
Big
and
for
that's
them.
okay.
There's so many
That's
possibilities. Yeah.
yeah, they cannot comprehend the vision that you have for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's okay. You just need to find somebody that you will be able to to convey that vision, and they would understand and provide the right guidance to you.
Very
Mhm.
well said.
True. True.
I
True.
remember Jason said to me one time ago, he said, I would love to start a group, where we could have some, what was the name of it again, Jason? Some vision you told me.
Mastermind, yeah, the
Yeah, the
mastermind, man.
mastermind group. So I see Lambert there, and I feel like we might have to start the mastermind group, and from
Yeah,
time to time do some talk here and so on.
young men coming together and talking, positively,
Yeah.
and sometimes even when we are in like we are Christian young men, and sometimes when we talk about success, that is kind of shunned because people
Yeah,
look at and say, well, you're too greedy, you need to focus
yeah.
on this and so. So there
Yeah.
isn't anything wrong with talking about success and wanting to be successful. The point is that it's balance, right? That's important. And also, why do you want success? And it goes to show that if you want success because you want it because it's something bigger than you, that
Yeah.
you want to like, you cannot want success for you. You
For
cannot have
yourself.
that
Yeah,
selfish
Yeah.
desire. It
yeah,
must be something bigger than you, right?
yeah.
And it comes back in terms of giving back,
Definitely. See
giving
you.
back in different ways, and
Hmm.
that is bigger than you. And once you do that, then you will be successful, and your success would be would be would be meaningful to you as an individual as well,
Definitely.
because there are a lot of successful men, rich men, based on how we define success, and they all write and say, if you think riches and material things will give you peace of mind and a sense of satisfaction, then you have to
Hmm.
think again. So these things are important, but the desire for it should be in the right place.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good
Yep.
stuff.
So
Good
yeah,
stuff.
so we have to decide now when we started the mastermind group and how often we meet them and having the discussion. Because I really believe we all can learn from each other and help each other develop. Because as I was saying earlier on, some people are stronger in some areas and some people are stronger in other areas. I might be very open to taking risks. That might be a little bit more skeptical to taking risks.
Yeah.
Jason might be the one that will analyze the risk a little more and say, well, yeah, if you do that, we ain't saying don't do it, but here's why you probably should not do that. He
Mhm.
might be the one doing the research and say, well, don't do this because this is my reason. Rather than when you have someone telling you, um, don't go after this thing because I just find it not making
That make
sense.
no sense.
You understand? And these are the
Yeah.
things that people oftentimes tell you. And let me not say it that way, but some people who don't understand you,
Mhm.
because I ain't trying to point fingers at anybody. But truth is, it's a kind of mindset in the smaller islands. Don't so even if you bring it home to banking on the financial institution, you would go with an idea to them and say, hey, this is what I want to accomplish. And the question might ask you, anybody did that here before?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? God works in the bank and God
Mhm.
know where you're coming from.
Mhm.
Do you have any proof of somebody did that before?
Yeah.
And if you say no, it's like you have to come with your idea have to be so clear. And I'm not saying it's not okay to have your idea clear. But when it's far fetched to some people, they tend to feel like, well, boy, nah,
That one.
that won't work. And so they
Yeah.
shut it down. And because you have plans, you have dreams, you have aspiration, you want to succeed at something, or sometimes you also have what I would say obstacles in your way or things that you don't have to accomplish your dreams. So you may not have the money. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't. That's one of the things that's a problem because you don't have the cash to do, and what you want to do does cash
Mhm.
cost some money, and you go to the place where you probably should get some help, and you can't get it. You know. So in the bigger world, you know that there are persons that be willing to invest in your idea, and you
Yep,
could
man.
look for investors. You get it?
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who found investors except the bank saying, "Yeah, you'll make some money from that." So, but the person and it would be such a beautiful thing. And another thing that crossed my mind too, being somebody that employed somebody or more than one persons in the past, it's a beautiful thing, bro, to tell you the truth when you can see like an idea that God was able to place in you, give it life, and see some other person family could eat from that. That is something that is so beautiful. God get glory from that. So when Jason said, it's not just about you trying to get it all for yourself.
Mhm.
You understand? And being all greedy. I think people is the most difficult, and the next side is the most difficult thing to manage people. People are so complicated at times, but it's important to know what you want and to just keep going. Despite what
Yeah.
obstacle comes in your way, be persistent. You know, and put a plan. I love that way you can see it. So other guys gonna make me print or something now and put it up.
Yeah. Definitely.
God
Yeah,
give me
Definitely.
that is Jason. When I put it up, I was sending you a picture so you had a proof, man. Yeah.
nice, nice. Yeah,
So
well, we have to hold each other
yeah,
accountable as well.
that's a next good point again, having persons that you're accountable
Yeah,
to
accountable
to make sure you're on the right path,
Yeah.
as to what you want to accomplish. So much things we could say, bro.
Definitely.
So much things, but let's take in that comment there right too, just the same too. Yeah, when I think of success, I'm thinking of accomplishment of an aim or purpose. Yeah, I guess that's what the person want to say.
Mhm.
Yeah, so when they think about success, they think in accomplishment of an aim or a purpose, and that's all well and good. But there's so much ingredients that you have to put into
That yeah,
the
in
pot
that yeah.
to get to that. You know what I mean? And the truth
Yeah.
is, it's not easy. It's just not easy.
True.
You know what I mean?
But one thing that really stood out to me, even as Jason would have gone through the material, it's amazing when he said that over 99, I think 99%,
90% of the people in the world.
90% of the people
99.
99.
99
Okay.
don't have a plan.
Yeah.
So my expectation is that everyone that would have listened to this program today
Yeah.
should be in that 1%, because we have the ingredients.
Right.
Right? We have the ingredients for the plan, and we have the ingredients as it relates to being successful. So I think we should be leaving this program today with those skills now to develop that plan for ourselves, and I think that should put us on the road to being successful.
Yeah.
Right?
As an introduction.
Again, you're listening to Hope 103.1. It's the Money Talk with co-host DJ Sabi and our very special guest, Mr. Jason Felix, who is all the way out over in Canada.
Yeah.
All right. Anything in closing, Jason? We know it's after 7 already. We normally run the program for 1 hour or so, but
some program just
some programs they have to go a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So any closing words before we go tonight?
Yeah, so I just want to encourage, everyone that, sometimes we go, they basically say that we are in the information age, right? So everything that we need to be successful is out there, right? The information is out there. And sometimes we participate in things like this, and then we just go home and then just go back to life as normal, So make a special effort, to be the change that you want to see, and then encourage somebody else to be that change as well. And it starts with you, and it starts with you just taking one simple step, and then you would see the results of that.
Mm-hmm.
Very well said, man.
Thanks for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sabi?
Yeah, for me,
closing remarks.
Closing remarks is I don't want to close. You know what I mean? Closing remarks is I don't want to close. But definitely planning for success is something that you must consider. And it's good to have a plan. And I say if you don't have a plan, you still have a plan. I mean, God said that before.
Yeah.
No plan is a plan. If you don't have a plan to succeed, then you have a plan to fail. And nobody wants to fail. So if you want to succeed at something, create a plan to succeed and do all you have to do to accomplish it. And most importantly, let me reiterate that scripture that Jason shared. It doesn't make sense, get in the whole world and lose what's most important, which is your soul. All right, so that's my closing remarks right there.
True. Mm-hmm. All right, Jason, well, we hope you and your family remain blessed, and we really want to thank you for taking of your time to spend the past hour and a half or so with us, and really pouring out into our lives. Not only myself and Sabi, but to the listening audience. And I do believe that the persons within the community that would have heard us would have been blessed as well. Someone says, excellent discourse, guys, right? So Jason, we will be keeping in contact with you. You would have mentioned some topics there that I think would also be good for us to discuss. So I hope the invitation would be open.
God.
Anytime.
There are some people that get that space, and there's some people that own this space. And Jason own his space.
You own his space.
So it's almost like I want to kind of put him on a part where I would say, Jay, every first Monday or third Monday in the
Yeah,
month, you
yeah.
expect to show your face. You understand? But we'll talk about that behind the scenes, and you decide if that's something you can commit to, and we
Yeah.
can see where you can go with it. Because I know you're a busy
Excellent.
man just the same. You have
Excellent.
family balancing, you have work balancing, you have your whole life balancing, and there are many things you can talk about besides that. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
All right.
yeah, man.
All right, Jason. So all the
All right.
best.
Yeah,
Remain
nice.
blessed. Thanks, man.
Yeah, nice meeting you, Garth, and Justin. We'll keep in touch for sure.
Definitely, bro.
Definitely.
It has been
All
a
right.
pleasure.
All
All
right,
right. All the
man.
best.
Blessings, G. All right, got so. Have anything to say before you leave?
Well, no, I going home and go over this
Practice
material.
some material. I agree. You know,
You
I was
know,
rewatching things, so
yeah, rewatch your
yeah,
program. Make sure that my plan is falling in line. You know, making sure I have a solid plan in place.
yeah.
You know, so I just wanna at this point thank everyone for
Yeah,
spending the time with us. Right. I do hope you are blessed this afternoon and really take some time to put a plan in place for
definitely,
success. Because if
definitely.
you don't have a plan, then that's a
You
plan
still
for
have a
failure.
plan. You still have a plan.
Right? And we want to be now 1% of people that have a plan.
Yeah.
Right. So again, it's Hope 103.1. Sabi, what's happening tomorrow?
Tomorrow, God spare our lives. Precious ladies on the inside in the morning time. It's
Right.
Tuesday. All right. So it'll be what, the 14th of the ninth month.
Mhm.
Later in the month is my birthday. I'm adding that too. So guys, feel free to send all your love offerings and so on. You know what I mean? My birthday is on the 28th. I'm excited about it despite all these things that are happening. Also in the morning at 7 o'clock, no, 6 o'clock rather. Brother Trevor T is going to be on the inside, so you can
Yeah.
log into our internet page for some of you guys who can't get the frequency just yet. That is on 103.1. If you can't get the frequency, you could go on a page www.hopefmgrenada.com. All right,
Mhm.
so you can check that out. And yeah, man, just keep it locked to Hope. It's Tuesday, and nothing else. You know, the program we're still growing. It's what today is
That's
the
the
14th.
10th.
So no, not the
Oh,
episodes,
okay.
but
Okay.
since we've been up and running, since about 2-3 months now.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we have something excited coming. So I'll tell you guys about that on Wednesday. God spare our lives, what we have coming, and there is another thing we also want to get coming also again. There's some interesting thing planning to present. So keep it locked to Hope, man. You know, we're spreading hope in these times. It's important to, God, let me just tell you this on air before I leave too. Um, when me and Trevor spoke about this idea, this vision a couple of years ago, and then last year, for example, when we saw what happened, we was like, wow, we wish we had, this ministry to be able to help, just encourage
Reach
people. Now.
people. Yeah.
And then here you have another opportunity. It's like, wow, well, you thought you missed it, but God is giving you another opportunity again to spread the hope,
Yeah.
because when I'm under hope, boy, he's like, you're dead already, yes?
Yeah. True.
So
True.
it's important, guys. Keep it
True.
locked. You get good music, good word, just something to encourage you. Yeah? So God bless everyone who has been locked in today. Thank you very much for the love and support. And continue to
Definitely.
share our channel.
Yeah.
You can subscribe if you haven't subscribed as yet.
Who we have on the inside? I see Precious
Yeah,
Lady.
Precious Lady.
We have Lambert.
Yeah, Lambert Paul is my good
Marlon.
brethren, and I met Lambert Paul through my brethren, Jason. We all been
nice.
friends since then. So
Nice.
we have
have
Crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite people. Sylvina. I see she on. She said earlier on. She said she said something, boy. She said, "Bless evening, everyone on the live." And we missed that one, God. So I want to make sure you get back that one and say bless evening to our good friend Sylvina. Just the same.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And say Nora, yes, or regular people and Rena Niles. Yeah. So
Lovely.
people talking about chocolate and all kind of things. So let's leave that one right here. And guys, do enjoy your evening. God bless you. Thank you
Alright,
for
bless,
making
guys.
Hope FM Grenada your choice.